Howdy, howdy, howdy. Stand by. All right, we are good to go. It is nice to see technology behaving a little bit better as time has gone on. Dagnabbit. I got a sword last time, and I didn't get a sword this time. Almost won the last one, but my sword ran out. Oh well. At least I know the sword exists. Whoa. Anonymous. I still remember when I was playing with YouTubers years ago, and they started going by Anonymous because they didn't want people to pick on them. Of course, it all could have been resolved if they just didn't use the same skins over and over again, so they were their own worst enemies. Whoa! I beg your pardon. I'm almost certain there's some aim assist that is now happening by default. Used to not be the case for PC players, but I'm almost certain that it is happening now. I'm not very good when it comes to shotguns. Moments like that prove it. Much better with swords. And that's actually true for a lot of things, actually. A lot of games, including real life. I actually do far better with swords, but that's because I have an extra reach, you could say. Bigger person, thus you have more ability to do beatdowns. And so, even though I lack the proper form and skill that an actual swordsman would have, my technique is hard to beat just because it is kind of that berserker mode, where it's like sure, you can have all the skill in the world, but when you're against somebody else with a heavier weight and more reach, it becomes very hard to win regardless, no matter who you are. I actually was pitted against my a teacher, and I was not very good when it came to form. My form was terrible, and my teacher, though, actually just barely did better than me over several different engagements. And he was getting better as time went on, but early on I was, just because he understood the stamina and pacing himself a bit better, but I was actually holding my own for a lot of it and actually getting quite a few points. And it was because of that ability to have extra reach on him. My arm length was a couple of inches longer than his, and that definitely paid off. It was a fun activity to do, but it was not with actual kind of broadsword techniques, which is what I would have preferred. But I still learned and still got better because of the class. Ooh, what is in here? Nope. Blast. Phooey. Was actually pretty good with bows and arrows as well. Wasn't great, but better than some. Oh, need a sword. So this is going to be, let's see here. Following lock screen. Wait, how would you rate the following screen locker? And neutral. Man, there's so many skins, and honestly, I have a hard time imagining why anybody would want to collect them, but there are some people that do collect it, and they have a lot of fun doing it. So I can't necessarily blame them for it, but it is interesting to see all the different skins, whether for pickaxes or whatnot, and just thinking there's some that make a lot of sense that people would really want to have, and others that I can't figure. Okay. Reorganize my windows over here. So there are a couple of interesting projects that are just about ready to come out. And they're going to be posted onto the website for the most part. There will be some things that go straight to YouTube or whatnot, but I'm really going to try and lean in hard on the website in one way, shape, or form, just because of the potential. But there's one thing that I'm going to be a little bit cautious of, and that is posting images. So I have an idea about how to help protect it from bots, but it's not quite there yet. And so hopefully I'll be able to get to that point later on this year. And I will still be posting stuff onto there, but I just need to figure out this tool a little bit more before I can start posting images more effectively. Because I found already AI scrapers starting to go through the website. Close. Okay, buddy, where are you? Matrix maneuver. You know, I got a theory about people that play this game. And I think some of their strategies require a player to be just at their level. And I learned that a while back by playing a game and realizing that some players really struggle when a character is higher or lower than them. And so this dive actually seems to be really effective against some of them. You dive in the air, and they're used to aiming at something that's at eye level for them. Either because they have an AI that's helping them or something else. Oh, that's not good. Wrong item. Shoot. You know, one of the things that I've been working on behind the scenes is illustrations, trying to get those up to speed, because I'm trying to draw a little bit each day, and it is helping. My quality is going up, and right now I think I'm at about 3 weeks of drawing something just about every day. Not every single day, but almost every day. And man, it has helped out, but I need to go on for another 2 months of doing this before I'm like really up to speed. But anyway, so once that's kind of figured out, I hope to be able to move on to the some of the illustration ideas I wanted to try and pull off. One of them is going to be hopefully a coloring book, and it's going to be fairly simple, but it's something that was requested years ago, and it never quite materialized. And it's still a bit on my mind about how to try and pull it off. I think I've finally got it figured out. So I got a bunch of different concepts to try and work with, and now I just got to figure out all the I just need to now do the actual drawings for the pages, because for the most part they're all planned in one way, shape, or form. I do not have good items here. Well, I wasn't going to do well with shotgun anyway. But there's something I want to kind of highlight in regards to illustrations in general. Because there are a lot of people right now who feel like their ability to do any sort of illustrations and make a living off of it is gone. And in many ways, they're right. It is gone. It is going to be a very difficult thing to try and make it that have a comeback. Our culture is rejoicing over the fact that they can leave artists behind, mostly because they're angry at artists they don't like, but they forget about the artists that actually do care and that they actually do enjoy. They're willing to throw them under the bus in order to get back at the people that gatekeep their favorite franchises. I can't tell you how infuriating that is. The realization that people are willing to, oh yes, a sword. People are willing to see an entire industry gutted just because they want to be able to do their fan fictions with Star Wars or something like that. I have to pace myself with the sword. It's going to run out fast. Not good. Blast. Should have pulled back. I get too excited when I see that I have a sword. But anyway, people are throwing artists under the bus. And they're doing it gleefully. There's a couple of folks that I've heard talking about the matter, and they just get giddy with excitement. Yes, we can finally do all this stuff. We don't need artists anymore. We don't need filmmakers anymore. It's like, buddy, people have been making fan fiction for millennia. It doesn't mean that you're good at it. Just because you can use an AI to make something that's cool and fancy, make a fan fiction, doesn't mean you know how to tell story. There's a lot of people who have made fan fictions, and they get praised by other fans, mostly because they don't understand the first thing about storytelling. They'll make a fan fiction, and it's all about a fight. It's not about story. A fan fiction is basically fans wanting to do an action sequence. That's all it really is. They want it to be cool and exciting. They have the most outlandish backstories that really don't make any sense in terms of lore, but they'll pretend like somehow they're these great lore experts because they got them to fight the way that they wanted them to fight. But they miss out on the most basic of storytelling aspects. That's why you'll never see the people that make the AI stuff actually tell good stories, because they don't understand how to tell a story. And I'm not saying that to be hurtful to them, except that what they need is a dose of reality. You can't expect somebody who understands how to cook to be a master chef that can work at a 5-star restaurant. There's always going to be a difference of quality. And if you don't understand that part, well, you're going to be very disappointed when you try and take it to people that are critics. Oh, but you can't trust the critics. The critics are bought off. Yeah, what about your neighbor? Your friends may praise you, but your neighbor won't. Your neighbor's going to have actually pretty sophisticated tastes. And so you may have an idea that's cool and may do well on YouTube, but it doesn't mean that it's great. It doesn't mean that people will actually pay money for it. Mostly because it lacks some of the most basic storytelling aspects. Uh-oh. That could have been bad. Someone's coming behind me. Uh-oh. Oof. So what is a good artist gonna do that the average person can't with AI? I mean, to the average person, it doesn't seem like anything. And that's the problem. See, the average person is becoming cold and heartless, kind of like Hollywood studios. They feel power for the first time, and they feel like they now can control their media destiny. They can become the creators. And I do say that a little mockingly because they don't fully understand, because they haven't put in the effort. I've been fighting with the same short for the last 6 months. It has taken a long time to do. It has not been easy. I've had to learn a lot of new techniques. It's taken growth. If I were to just say, oh, AI, make this, it doesn't mean I've learned anything. It doesn't mean I've gotten better. It means that I've allowed a machine to do something that I should have been doing with my brain. And if I do that, well, eventually I'm going to be surprised when I find out that I'm no longer the one making the decisions. People will start to say, well, why do we need your version? What if we want to make our own? And we'll just basically tell the AI, make a variation of the one that we like, but make it cooler, make it better. And people are going to suddenly get discouraged. They're like, wait a minute, I put in the time and effort. I've edited together this AI masterpiece. And everyone else with an AI will say, well, why would we bother with yours when we can just make our own? It will eventually come around to that, and people are going to be then upset because they're going to feel slighted by their friends. It's like, well, welcome to the club. You wanted to become the master storyteller, and you took a shortcut. Now everyone else is going to take the same shortcut, and then you're going to be upset about it. We have to realize that's really what's going to happen. And it's already beginning. NeoKitty. Ooh. Look at that. Haven't seen this in a while. I mean, I've seen variations of it, but not the golden one. Or the, legendary. This is one of the first... Oh, wait. Oh, I don't have a scope on it. Oh, that's obnoxious. Maybe there is a scope. Nope. They got rid of it. Or it's bugged. Someone's over there. Perfect. Okay, you know what? Get rid of that. Yeah. That's a fun item to use. Now, I've heard a lot of people who are into AI say, oh, well, you're just bitter about it. And there's some truth in that. I'm bitter that a person would think so lowly of somebody putting in effort and say that they could do it better just by relying on a machine. It is insulting. And, the creator of Studio Ghibli would say the same. He feels insulted. It's an insult to humanity. It's an insult to creation. It's an insult to everything that is living in this world. class. Oh, that was the last bit? Interesting. So yeah, I think I have a justification in being better. See, here's the one part about AI that no one ever thinks about. People like to say, oh, it's the next industrial revolution. Lies. That's what they were told, which means they're sheep. They were told by someone else to say that response. Next industrial revolution, you don't want to be outmoded like the horse and buggy. What they want are slaves. The AI will now be your thinker. I heard it put this way recently, and I actually agree with this. There are people who are in the AI revolution that believe the AI is going to become smarter than humanity. And already they're surrendering themselves to the machine. Surrendering, willingly, right here, right now. The AI makes all the choices for them. What they've decided that they want to be, and I quote, they want to be the pets of the AI. They want the AI to be the master, and they want to be the pet. That's cared for by the AI. It's fed by the AI. It's given money by the AI. That is evil. I don't care what sort of anger you have with Hollywood or what sort of ideas you have for creativity, or when you give yourself over to an AI, you are evil because you're surrendering the very thing that makes you human. I don't say that lightly. It's disgusting. And the more I hear about it, the more insulted I become. Because it's people actively choosing that they do not want to be human or have responsibility anymore. It's kind of like the people that should be having kids, for example, but decide that they don't because they don't want responsibility. They want to be a permanent kid. They want someone else to be the parent. They want someone else to be the master. Oh, AI, daddy, tell me what I should do. And yes, there are people that actually do that. I'm not saying that to be just mocking. That is literally what some people are doing. I feel like I'm shouting at the wind because nobody's paying attention. Nobody who is investing into AI. But here's the thing. The people that are investing into AI will learn the hard way. They are going to be disappointed. They're going to be destroyed. Kind of like that guy. They're going to be destroyed, and they won't see it coming. It's already happening. They're getting dumber. If you talk to somebody who is a big investor into AI, you will hear the most nonsense out of them as you have probably ever heard. It is ridiculous, and they are so incapable of seeing it in themselves. Here's an example. First example is that they're not allowed to reason. They're not allowed to use their own mind to make decisions. The AI is making the decisions. They're having a hard time memorizing things. Now, I've always had a problem with memorization, but I keep fighting with it. I keep wanting to improve. I want to get better. I don't want to rely upon a machine. Because the moment I rely upon a machine, then my brain will get weaker, just like a muscle. And people are already losing their ability to reason. And it's because they're allowing a machine to do all the thinking for them. Oh. Evil avatar. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. I'd love to have like an in-depth discussion with somebody with like an AI advocate. But that's the other thing about AI advocates. They're cowards. They run. They do not want to face anybody and talk about these things because in the end, they don't actually know how to reason. And so the moment you start to challenge them with just sheer logic, they freeze and they have to consult the AI about these things. When they are by themselves, they have the ability to kind of hide. Shoot. That's a bad shotgun. Should have used the pistols. But they have to rely upon the AI. So if you're discussing with them, they're probably looking at another screen, allowing the AI to think for them. By the way, that is actually happening with people during interviews. And so they're actually requiring you to many times show up for an interview and have all technology put away. Because if they're hiring an AI, why do they need you? And that's the other thing about AI advocates. They are incapable of doing something of merit. They're required to use a machine to pull it off. If I'm relying upon a machine to do something for me, in everything, and I'm incapable of realizing I can be outmoded just by someone saying, hey, I'm just going to ask the AI directly. I don't need you to be the in-between. That's cutting out the middleman, the most expensive aspect of the whole equation. If I wanted to, I could make a full-length motion picture with AI, and I could actually tell a pretty good story, I believe. Oh yeah, sword. So I could tell a pretty compelling story, I'm certain. And it would be without the help of an AI. But the AI would just be used for the visuals. Now, some people would say, hey, that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah, see, now you can pull off that great, grand idea. Well, yeah, sure, I can pull it off. Doesn't mean that it's going to be good. Possibly. But it's more likely it's going to require a form of compromise to pull it off. And so it may seem like I'm able to pull something off, but in the end, it's actually going to be so much of a compromise, it's going to basically nullify any future endeavors I have. If I used an AI, it would all be for naught eventually. Oh, there we go. I've been fascinated with this idea of a Balerian jihad because it's a fictitious story element of Dune. But ironically enough, it actually might be the most realistic aspect of that world. Spice is actually a possible device to make. It is actually possible to have something called spice. Now, worms, not so much, but it's very possible to have. Oh, I missed. Shoot, I messed that one up. There we go. Close. Golly, get out of here. So in the Balerian Jihad, people turn on the AI, and they get, with a religious sort of fervor to get rid of it. I believe that's going to happen. Mostly because of one thing. AI is not really mentioned, other than there's one possible area it's mentioned about in the Bible. It's not referred to, which means that it's not going to work. Now, some people could say, well, that's because you're believing something that was written hundreds or thousands of years ago, and that would be thousands of years ago, and that would be correct. Some people are not going to view it as truth. I view it as truth. I believe there is truth in there, because I've seen enough of this world in this life to convince me that God is real. And so thus, I look to his word as a source of truth, even if, culturally, it sounds ridiculous. So, when I say that I don't see it in the scriptures, now, there's one area, though, that it does seem like it could appear. And it's actually a very disturbing area as well, which makes me think that it could be that it comes about, but it's not going to last. And one of the reasons is because AI is reliant upon technology. Now, this is getting a bit theoretical, so try and bear with me as we tease this one out. Oh, I messed that up. Oh no. Shoot. So there's a possibility with AI, and I think it might actually happen. So I've been trying to figure out, how does AI appear in the scriptures? And there's one area where it looks like there's something out of the earth that is given power. It's a hive creature. And it's referred to as locust. I've been wondering, what if that possibly is AI? If that is indeed true, then it means that only the wicked are going to be tormented by it. Possibly the people give themselves over to it, like their pets. Do you know AI could run off of being a carnivore? They've already figured it out. There's a robot that eats bugs, and it powers itself that way. They tested it back in, I think, 2015, 2016, maybe even before then. And they figured it out. It actually goes around eating bugs. Now, it's a theoretical thing, of course. It doesn't take much to realize that you can actually upgrade it and make it to where you can power it off of other types of living creatures. But if it is something where people start treating it like it's their master, of course they're going to be tormented by it. Now, that's a bit of a stretch, and we can't necessarily say that Scripture is telling us that, because it's prophetic. We don't know until it has already golden sword. We don't know until it has already happened what it's referring to. And that's for the best, because if we were to understand oh no, I messed up. That was close. If we understood exactly what a prophecy was referring to, we would try and counteract it, just like how Herod was trying to counteract the birth of the Messiah. There are some people that, knowing a prophecy, it will cause them to want to try and control that prophecy. And it's not possible. I believe God set it up so that a prophecy cannot actually happen at the hands of a human being. So I can theorize about what these locusts are, which kind of sounds like drones, AI-powered drones. But it doesn't mean that that's actually going to happen. And there are some people, they're actively trying to control the world, and the potential of prophecies with politics. And it's very disturbing because some people are making very dangerous sort of decisions. And it's all with this attempt to try and control prophecy, and it's not going to work. But we still have to take these things into account. That's one of the reasons why people get concerned about the mark of the beast, for example. The mark of the beast is something where we don't really know what that is referring to. We have theories, and there's some good reasons to believe it's one way or another, but we don't truly understand. And it's for the best, I think. But here's how it could potentially come to an end. There's an area in Scripture where it mentions that one of the, I believe it's one of the bowls of God's wrath, is, greetings there, Bastion, is going to be poured out on the sun. During that time, the sun is going to get to be scorching hot, and people are not going to be able to be outside. It's a very clear area of Scripture, and it's like, that's very interesting. So the sun is going to be made super hot. What are people paranoid about? Global warming. And technically, there is going to be some of that one day. But the question is, are we in the end times or are we not? We don't know. And we won't know until it has transpired. But if you have a hotter sun, that means you're going to have a lot more radiation, a lot more activity in the sun. What could that potentially do is destroy all technology. And that's a theory that I've heard mentioned about, that we could have all of our technology rendered useless by the sun if we got hit by a solar storm. Well, if the sun gets hotter, could that be because more solar storms are happening? And if so, it doesn't matter if we make AI or not. God will destroy it. Now, I do believe something is going to happen to prevent AI from becoming the terror that it promises to become. But what are people going to do to each other in the meantime as they pursue this false deity? Which some people do call it a god, which is, I think, a good reason to believe that God is going to smite this thing. Just like how he smited all the fake idols and the pagan deities of old. He allowed his people to go up and destroy all the oh, huzzah! Wunderbar. There are many times throughout history where God's people go to an area, and all the pagan elements basically dissolve before them. They crumble before them. And suddenly you're left with a realization that all the false gods are gone, and this new God that has appeared is saying he's the only one. Well, if you're a pagan, you're very quickly going to change. Well, right now we have a neo-paganism taken over. This desire for an AI to be their new god. And so many people are saying that. So many people are even just toying with it is a form of God. Those people, I believe, are in serious jeopardy of some very bad things happening. Because God is very jealous. If he sees that and decides that people are going to be punished for their acceptance of a false deity, he might give them over to that deity, that fake deity, just to show the world how horrible it is. The moment I heard people start claiming that it was a god, that's when I realized AI is doomed. There is no good that can come out of AI. And that's why I won't even compromise with it. Because I have seen enough people trying to embrace it. I'm like, this cannot happen. This cannot persist. And it won't. It will break and it will fall apart. But the question is, will it fall apart this year or next year or 50 years, 100 years from now? It will break though. And it could break just because it was a lie to begin with, just like every other false deity. I can't stand the shotgun. Oh. Shoot. So very bad with that one. The people I've seen who have used AI the most are some of the dumbest people. And I'm not saying that lightly. I'm saying that soberly. Some of them are so dumb. And here's the reason why. It is because I think everyone in this world has to struggle. Everyone has to struggle. You're not going to get through this life without struggling. Life is pain. Life is struggle. It's like a tree. And I've mentioned this reference before, but it's like a tree that things have to be able to sway back and forth on a tree for it to get strong. It has to be in a windstorm so it can endure a hurricane. Injuries make you stronger. If AI takes away all of the pain, all the suffering that we deal with, we're going to get incredibly weak. And the number one thing that it's attacking is our mind. People are becoming dumber. And the people that are using it from their youth and are leaning on it for the future, they may feel like they're the smartest kids in the world because they're able to ace all their tests. They're able to know all the answers at their fingertips. And yet, at the same time, we're finding reports that says that their IQ is plunging. Anonymous. Oh, messed that up. So what if we did end up in a Balerian Jihad sort of scenario? Would we be able to solve the problem of the AI? I think yes, at least part of it. But we have to be able to help prevent people from getting vengeful against each other. And right now, I think it's going to be a fight between the people that support AI and those that don't. Come on. Close. This is not going to go well. He's on the roof, isn't he? Oh well. It's going to be sad to see, because a lot of people that we know right here, right now, are going to have their minds compromised over the next couple of years. A lot of people are going to take on a whole different personality, like it's already happening. There was a young man that I met who was a heavy user of AI. He started using it immediately, and he leaned into it like his life depended on it. Years have passed, and he is very much thinking that he is smart and intelligent and deserves massive salaries, and he can't remember the most basic of things. You know, one of the best things that you can have for your future career is a good personality. A good, strong, healthy personality. You can't learn that in a classroom. You learn that from life experiences. And AI cannot teach you that. And eventually, people are going to come to realize that all you have to do is talk to people and mention some very basic things and watch them freeze. And then you'll realize that you have somebody doesn't have a skill. Uh-oh. Close. You're going to realize that some people don't have the most basic of skills. And it's going to be because they never learned how to do things like... Well, I don't want to mention all the different things this guy did, because it would kind of pinpoint who he was. Oh no, no, no. Ah, shoot. Let's put it this way. If someone were to be at the dinner table, and as you're chatting with them, they start eating with their mouth open. And you're like, okay, that's a little weird. And they're starting to talk to you while their mouth is open, and they're still chewing. Food is falling out of them. And then you realize there is actually food caked to their neck. By the way, that happened to me before. I actually came across somebody that this actually happened, but this has been like about 15 years or so. So it's not like anyone's ever going to find out who they are. I still remember him the day that I walked in and saw food caked to his neck. It was mayonnaise. It had dried out, and his face was an absolute mess, and he would eat in that sort of manner. Someone like that doesn't have the most basic of life skills. And if he was to be interviewed and he were to eat like that at work, he would never get promoted. It's a life skill that you don't hear about. That goes for other things too, not just how you eat. That goes into how you process a problem. That goes into how you're chatting with somebody. If we surrender that stuff to the AI, people are going to become so dependent that they might as well be, like they said, they want to be their pets, and they will be the pets of AI. Some people have taken it so far to say that the AI is going to be able to vote. And by the way, that is actually the very first thing when it was claimed that AI was sentient. They said, now we have to figure out how to get it so it can vote, which is exactly how the companies want it to be. They can control the AI. Oh, sure. The last time people asked the AI, hey, who are you voting for? And it said Donald Trump, and it made a whole bunch of Republicans very excited. And they're like, yeah, see, the AI is based. That was because it was reciting what it was seeing across the web. It wasn't a curated AI answer. It since has changed, and I doubt it's going to be so kind. No matter what side of the political aisle you fall on, AI is going to betray you because it is very much unnatural. And we have to realize that. And if it is going to be unnatural, well, eventually it will balance out. Eventually people will start to shun those who use the AI. And yes, that is going to happen. It's going to be massive discrimination. It will happen. Just like the Balerian Jihad. Oh, I messed that up. Oh, shoot, I missed my opportunity. Just going to try and hit him from a distance, but shoot. But the discrimination will start beginning probably towards the end of this year. It's already starting, technically. You're seeing people ridiculing folks that use AI, and they're being humiliated in their circles. People that are artists are mocking those people that claim to be artists because they use an AI. We are seeing the divide begin. When will it become aggressive? That's the part that we don't know. It's not going to happen immediately. It'll probably be when the AI people start trying to push for more power. But we have to be careful because a lot of the AI people, they want to have a robot army to enforce the will of their digital master. These things are not of my own invention. You can find documentation about this stuff. They talk about this sort of stuff all the time. And thinking about how they're going to rule the world with them and their AI. It is being talked about. And people are realizing the danger. Just not the people that want to get rich off this stuff. Not the people that want to use it for their own creative fantasies. I didn't have an item with him. Interesting. Must have been a bot. Come back here. Come on. Where'd he go? That's peculiar. Did he teleport? I didn't see the... Oh, yep, he did. Close one. Oh, perfect. Recharged. All right. We'll go with this one. What if you were to have a friend, a good friend, and one day you were chatting with him, and he said, you know what, I've been so frustrated, so lonely, and you say, well, I would like to have you come down and join us for a gathering that we're doing. We're going to be going bowling. And he says, yeah, but see, it's a little too late. I've already made some decisions. I'm just gonna go with something else. I'm too burned by recent events to try and risk something like that. And you say, okay, well, what's your plan? He said, well, see, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to marry an AI. And you're like, what? And it becomes a point that he's looking for your he's looking for your endorsement, your encouragement, and suddenly his gut feeling appears in you, and you're like, oh my goodness, this guy's transformed. I don't want to be around him. And suddenly the sight of this person becomes disgusting to you. It may not happen immediately, but eventually it will start to become disgusting. And he's going to claim that you're just discriminating against him for his choices. And you're like, no, this is wrong. That thing's not even living. And he's going to come up with all the reasons why you should encourage him. And you're going to have to cut him off. It won't happen overnight. A lot of people are going to resist. But it is going to have to happen. And you're going to see a lot of people get very upset, very bitter, and they'll use self-harm as a way to try and get your endorsement. But then they'll start turning to the AI to be their friend in every way. It's sickening because there are people that are trying to resurrect family members doing this. This is actually how the first AIs really came about. Someone who lost she lost her husband, and she decided that she wanted to feed all of his text messages into an AI so she could resurrect him digitally. That's wrong on so many levels. But what happens when your friend decides he wants to have you as a digital copy? He says, hey, can I have can you send me a link to your email or they go onto your social media and say, hey, I want to take a look at this. And you're like, okay, yeah, sure. And you find out that they created a digital copy of you, and then they dump you. because they're like, you know what, you've changed too much. I don't like this new you. I like the old you. And they're going to use the AI to create a digital replacement. That, I know people that would probably do that. There's people that are threatening that already with some of their friend groups. Oh shoot, messed that up. Imagine that. You're making dating out to be more scary. You know? The world of AI has actually made online dating impossible. You don't know who's flesh and blood. Could be someone who's fake, someone who's real that's, you know, imitating someone else. But yeah, it's pretty messed up. Flesh and blood. Real people, that's what matters. Reality. I so want to do like local events with folks. I really do. I can't figure out how to do it though. Because there's no one up here in Alaska that really does like non-outdoor activities. And so how do you connect to the people that want to do just regular activities, maybe not all outdoor? How do you give them an option? Well, I've got some ideas how to do that. I just don't know how in my current state. Literally current state and current state. But imagine the dating world if you were to suddenly have people meeting in real life. You wouldn't need a dating app. And it can be based upon a friendship, upon a commonality, upon just a common history. Do you realize how wonderful that would be? That's how it used to be. And man, there are so many people that have just given that up entirely. All for a machine. And yes, I do count cell phones as part of the machine. We got to work together as a society to beat this monster. Together we can do it. Divided, we will struggle. We won't fall, we'll just struggle. Hey, close quarters weapon. Here we go. Hark. Whoa! It's not the last one. Someone else is out there. So I gotta be careful not to... It worked. He didn't heal himself enough. Lucky, 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 lucky. Or did he even drink it? I've messed that up before. Maybe he messed that up. Ooh, there's a lot of stuff.
Huzzah! Now we have tea.
This machine will break. The machine of AI will break. But the question is, who's going to be captured by it between now and the time that it breaks? Are people going to realize as a majority that it's bad? Because I believe the people that are going to lean into it the most are the elites, and I hate to say it, but the retarded. People that don't know any better, and they don't care. The people that are critically minded are going to avoid it. People that know their history are going to avoid it. People that are religious are going to avoid it. The only people that are going to latch onto it is probably 5-10% of the population, but they're going to have so much power because the machine will be serving its overlords, and by consequence everyone that is subservient to the AI will serve the overlords through the AI. Got a Bastion X. I do care deeply about the well-being of our culture. That's what first got me angry with AI, because I realized that it was threatening any attempts to try and stabilize our culture. Hollywood messed it up. Our society messed it up. Our government messed it up. And just when we thought that it was about ready to start stabilizing, along comes AI and threatens to make it even worse. Let's go here. That seems to be a good spot for our landing tonight. Oh, good, swords again. Perfect. Oh, I messed that up. That's be a bot. You know, I had a friend who I really wish I could talk with again. It won't happen. Our parting was fairly benign, but after a couple of years, he became very bitter, very angry. And so the chance of connecting again is near impossible, but not completely impossible. And this is something I've been thinking about as of late. What do you do when you have a friend who is angry with you? Well, one of the things you got to do is try and pull back. Try and let the temperature cool. Don't abandon them. But our culture wants you to abandon each other. If we abandon one another, we become subservient to our anger. And in our anger, we can make some pretty big mistakes. Ooh, fancy. Huzzah! So I don't know what has become of my friend since then. But if I was to meet him again, I bet neither of us would be able to pinpoint why it is that there was the anger. Now, maybe he does remember. I can definitely say that I have definitely forgotten. So if there was something, I don't hold it against him. If we had just kept in contact, I'll bet it would have been maybe half a year before we could actually chat once again. Half a year, that's probably all it would have taken. We had spent years together, having great conversations, quality conversations, and wasn't until really just 1 year that all changed. Ooh, huzzah. Oh, Birdman. Nicely done. What happens if an AI is used to help you remember why you're angry? Hey Siri, why did I hate Joe Schmo? And then she responds with every last little thing that went wrong between you and Joe Schmo. Thanks, Siri. Now I'm all angry again. There are people that actually do that. It's pretty sad, actually. Oh, greetings there, Bastion. Why is that sound one not working? Let me open up the soundboard. It's weird. What the heck? I'm gonna restart Discord. Something has happened with Discord. What in tarnation? Aha, there's an update. Hopefully this fixes it. Alright. Here we go. Trying this again. Alrighty, let's see if something works here. What the heck? Why in tarnation is that not working? It's like everything in Discord has been muted here. It's weird. Huh. Well, that is a mystery. Disable that.
Yikes! And away!
Huh. All right. Well, we'll surrender surrender the soundboard because for whatever reason that's not wanting to cooperate. But don't worry, folks, because despite that not functioning, we still have Silverado operational.
You serious?
Hey, yes, sir. We are serious. All right. That was unfortunate. Cheap viewers, my favorite. I don't think so, you bot. Delete and block. Wonderful. Oh, take that, anime lady. Victory. Oh, I like the sword. Such a great item. Ooh, a duck. Anonymous. Ooh, nicely done. It's relatively easy when you get a sword involved. Yeah, I enjoy the swords. So I mentioned earlier that my friend and I had a falling out, and there's one thing that I do kind of remember about one of our last discussions, and it had to do with philosophy of life, and how to kind of navigate the decisions that we have to make in this world. Now let's go back to the original game here. And he had, it wasn't true Marxist ideas, but he did have some ideas that had some similarities. And so that was part of the reason why we had some arguments, but I never thought ill of him for some of his ideas. Now, I disagree with him on a great many of them, but didn't think ill. Well, something interesting that took place had to do with this idea of cooling the temperatures. Now, if you're somebody who is, let's say that you have water in front of you. You have a bowl of water and you have a bowl of ice. Now, if you were to leave both of them there, the ice would turn to water. If you were to increase the heat, the water would turn to gas and the ice would turn to water and then to gas after time. One is going to turn to a gas faster than the other. And if you try and cool things down, it's something similar. If you had a container of steam and you had a container of water and you put them both in a freezer, for that steam to actually, now if it's like high concentration, it will take a while for it to finally cool down, but it will actually take the water longer to freeze solid just because of the amount of water that's there. Now, if you were to take like the same amount, it still would take a while, a lot of energy to try and remove the heat from the steam and turn it into ice. But the water, it would go a lot faster. So I wanted to bring that up because in this world, we have the opportunity to lower the temperature of our bitterness and our anger. And if we start, it doesn't mean it will happen overnight. It takes time. Eventually, things will cool and they'll solidify again. But if you allow the temperature to keep increasing and you do nothing to try and cool it down or remove yourself from the heat, you are going to make yourself, you're going to put yourself in a terrible position. And you're going to regret it. You're going to say a word, they're going to say a word. Something is going to upset one of you, and all of your friendship will have been for naught. Now I value the opinions of my friends, even though I don't necessarily agree with them. I have friends that believe that the AI is here to help us. I think that they're crazy, but I'm not going to cast them aside. Now, the moment that they start to make really bad life decisions, I'm going to have to ratchet things up. But it shouldn't be my first choice. There should be a slow increase to that. But also, there should be the realization that sometimes you don't need the heat to increase. Sometimes you just need to step back yourself. Kind of looks like the DeLorean in a couple of ways here. I need to put in some sound effects of Back to the Future. That'd be actually pretty good. earlier today I was trying to fix so I got off of work and I took some time to try and correct a login problem that was happening with, oh. So I was trying to fix a login problem that was taking place with the Castercraft site, and it's one of the good things of getting a chance to test it. I made it so that basically I have to log on to it just about every day to do tasks, and the tasks are about trying and manage the projects that are taking place, which is good because then I get a chance to encounter problems along the way and then fix them as I come across them. But man, there is a lot of small things I've had to correct over the last couple of months. And it has been a lot of fun to piece together, but it's also been very frustrating because things that you think that you figured out come back to cause you problems in the future. Ouch. I guess got a better weapon. Aha! And he walked into a trap down there. Unknowingly. But one of the neat things that the website now can do is it can showcase projects to people that I need to be able to test things out on. So it has something where I can turn on like certain pages for certain people, and so they can be able to review it and make sure it's all good to go. That I've been needing that for a long time because I really need to figure out how to be able to work with some of the folks I have volunteering, which there's not many, but I do need them to be able to see some of this stuff so they can be able to kind of plan some of the projects out. Oof! Irashimasen! Let me see here. Irashimase. Yep, I got that a little messed up. But one of the projects is a game, and that game is probably not going to be even announced until sometime later. That's like after the Lego projects kind of come to a conclusion, which they're not ever going to truly come to a conclusion, but the main push, when they come to a conclusion, I'm going to probably start developing it again. Because I'm almost at the point of where I feel like it has potential. But that goes for a lot of other projects. And right now, I'm at the point where I'm going to be trying to hire a couple of people to help out with these projects. Oh, there's somebody. Get birded. Ha 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 ha. Birds of Doom. But it's such a neat thing, though, to actually have a site where I can manage this stuff and feel like it has that it has potential for group projects, and that it has the protection of being built from the ground up to where I don't have to worry about it being compromised through another platform. Now, there's still problems that can occur, and I'm trying to figure out how to help prevent that from being an issue. But that's probably not going to be a huge issue for a while. We'll see. But it is something where I do have to take those things into account. Yeah, make that banana peel. Now, one thing I gotta figure out though for this, that thing's glitched, huh? Yep, that's a glitch. Oh. Whoa, I did not mean to do that. Oh no. Brought the car up to the demon world. Well, now that's a problem. Might as well grab this crypto bone before heading on out. Haven't been up to this island in a long time. Not any motivation to come up here, so kind of comical that ended up here anyway. Oh, there's a bastion. Hope you're buckled in. Oof. Aha. Uh-oh. That's not good. Okay. Ooh, that worked. I'm surprised. There we go. Uh-oh.
These birds are powerful.
Oh, there's plenty of shields around here. Any other gear that I want to grab here? Oh, yeah, I'll grab the purple one of this one. There we go. Hark. Up on the ridge line. Yeah, you better run. They're not in this one. There they are. Other person down there. Okay, there's a lot of people around here. This could be a problem. There we go. Whoa! Ouch! Wow, that hurt. I don't know where I got shot from. Oh, yep, up on the island. Most unfortunate. Here he comes. Oof. That went fairly decent. Oh, he took out a lot of folks. Yeah, 9 total. It's not bad. Instantly unlocked Superman, but I don't want Superman. What is in that pass? Let's see here. Instantly get Superman. Who else is here? Robin. Another version of Robin. Pom Pom Girl. Never going to use that. Same. Lizard Lady. Another lizard. Yeah, I'm not going to use any of these people. What is this character? Frost Rider? Light Rider. Dark Res. Arcane. Yeah, none of them. You should put Batman in there. I saw Batman again recently. Man, it's the Christopher Nolan films. Man, they are so good. Top-notch storytelling. I know there's people that are critics of it, but man, it is good. It's not comic book accurate, but I would dare say it's even better. One more? Okay, that works out just fine. By the way, folks, we're going to be, if you would be so kind to either like, dislike, or comment, that would be much appreciated. I found out recently that apparently YouTube thinks the same way as I do in this matter. Because turns out they actually have said that they will not count a watch time if it doesn't have an interaction, which is very interesting. I was wanting the interaction just so that I could know that somebody was real. Apparently YouTube wants it because that way they know whether or not they can do their advertising or whatnot, which I'm not monetized, so it doesn't really impact me one way or the other. But it does impact YouTube, apparently. So that is kind of interesting that the big companies are starting to realize interaction is important. At least, to justify watch time compared to whether or not a bot is watching it. Which, I gotta say, the number of views I get on Rumble, man, there is a lot of bots on that side. Thankfully, not as much this last week, but throughout the last year, it has been horrible.
Fortress of Solitude.
Another one that's been pretty bad as of late is Twitch. Twitch has been primarily bots. And I think part of it is that we've left the Twitch side and now we do multi-streaming. But also the other thing is that Twitch itself is a dying platform. Now, it's not dying the way that a lot of folks are saying it, but it is becoming less popular over the last couple of months. And I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of fades even further before it finally hits a turning point, if it can hit a turning point. One thing I never quite understood is this desire from a lot of channels to try desperately to create an industry off of streaming. The reason why I can't quite figure it out is because the logistics for doing that hasn't been there for years. Like back when I first got started, I was told by the YouTubers I worked with that streaming is basically a dying industry, and we have the ability, we're going to try and transition out of it. So I know that a lot of people realize it and they're in the process of trying to get out. Okay, gotta try and do this one smart. Let him reboot. Actually, I think it could have actually made it over there. Yeah. This is bad. This is bad. I messed that up. I did bad timing on that one. Oh, shoot. I did that one very badly. Very badly indeed. If you have to call it there, Bastion, then understand. Otherwise, I'm just going to reset up that kind of go again. But if you have to leave, then no worries. Greetings there, Enigmatic. How you doing? All right, have a good evening there, Bastion. Thanks for participating.
Yeah, I'm gonna go rest. Later today there is.
Okay, that is really weird. The my comms with this. Oh wait, I think I know what's going on here. Yeah, there's something very messed up with my Discord. I can't. Aha, that's it. That's it. Got it. All right, try that again.
Yeah, good night.
All right.
Later today there is going to be an event in Fortnite OG. We'll probably go on to it and it'll show a countdown. It's going to be for a rocket event.
All right, much appreciated for that. All right, well, rest well, sir, and see you next time, whenever that is. There we go. Now we have the audio working. Okay, so that was on my side, folks. Uh-oh. And now Discord shut down. Oh my goodness, that's ridiculous. Kicking back, long week. Dandy. Well, it has been fairly productive week for myself down here. But I'm glad it is the weekend. I have a couple of projects I'm trying to wrap up and kind of get ready for the next stage of development. of which one of them is a print product, and it's one I've really been wanting to share for a while, but I've been sitting on it, letting myself kind of reset and then go back to do editing. So this weekend I'm going to do some editing of that, hopefully publishing it next week, or if not that, then the week afterwards. It'll be it's a story that I have a very strong connection to in many ways, and so hopefully other people enjoy the story. But we'll see. I still need to get my test audience and my folks I kind of need to chat with about that. I've been meaning to get them the product, but I need to figure something else out on back end, so that way I could be able to share it with them and be able to get their opinions without it going out and having to send it like by mail or whatnot, or email. I want to avoid the email. Anyway, we'll see. Earlier today, I was just doing a bunch of ranting about all the AI nonsense that's taking place. It is so infuriating. But thankfully, a lot of people seem to be waking up. And I notice a lot of businesses are starting to realize, small businesses, not the big businesses, smaller businesses are starting to notice some of the problems, and they're starting to pull back. But there's a couple of restaurants that I used to go to, and because I need to get out of the office and whatnot, and it's a good way to kind of connect with people in your local area, because if you just stay inside your office the whole day, you kind of go insane. And so I try and force myself to go out, even if I'm not all that keen on it, just because it allows me to talk with people. Well, there's a couple places I refuse to go to now because they started investing into AI and into automation. One place fired half of their staff in order to automate. That's insulting. I want people, flesh and blood, folks that you care about. I don't care about a machine. I could care less about the machine. Let the machine die. I want real people. And sadly, a lot of folks have already started saying, like, hey, yeah, we want to go down this automation route. Well, I will not take my business there anymore. And I walked on in. I noticed nobody else was there either. They automated the whole place. Well, the whole like customer service sort of experience, and nobody was there. Not anyone. And I've not seen anybody go over there since then. I like drive by it every now and again. I'm like, there's never anybody there. And I'm glad, because a place that automates and tries to get away from human beings, they don't deserve business. Sure, it may sound cold. Well, no colder than this ice over here. It may sound cold, but you can't cast human beings aside just so you can make more profit. Restaurants, they make a massive amount of money. A McDonald's, for example, guarantee of like $100,000 a year, max $1 million. And imagine how much money that the franchise owners get. How much the managers of the area get. It is incredible. And here they are saying that, oh, well, we can't hire more people. We're going to automate. And it's just pure greed. And a cold sort of greed too. Get him, doggy. Yeah. Good doggies. people do not know how to counter that, thankfully. But being able to value another person, it seems so basic. I mean, when we grew up, we learned, be kind to others. Treat others as you would like to be treated.
Well, I'm a business owner. I want somebody to cast me aside in order to have an AI automate my job away.
Really? No, you're just saying that because you want to make the fast buck. But yeah, I think that there's a reckoning coming for a lot of businesses that have done this. And I think it's already starting. There's some people where they're really starting to wake up. They're like, nope, this is too far. This is too weird. And they're using the term like it's odd or it's unnatural. And that's good terms, but it's also just evil. The desire to make profit at in every way, regardless of who it impacts, it's pretty cold. I hope so, yeah. Well, perfect, get more crypto bones. Okay, perfect. Take that with, I bought extra. Okay, well, here, have a doggy. Oh, good, it doesn't damage Superman. So here's where I started noticing that the tides were turning. Government is starting to get wary about this stuff. And up until recently, the government was like all gung-ho on it. Well, thankfully, that has started to change. And I think that people are starting to realize all this automation is dangerous for our nation as a whole. Now, a lot of people don't think that. They're still certain that it's going to be good for us. But the tables are starting to turn. People that I knew who were like not all that interested in wanting to have an opinion on AI are now saying, nope, this world is getting too crazy, too unnatural. Let's go back to some basics. Honestly, if I ended up in medieval Europe again, I wouldn't have a problem, because that sort of culture is where my kin came from. That's where my ancestors came from. And so I'm not going to be all bent out of shape if I have to go back a couple of ages to kind of eke out a living. I don't care if I have to become like a cowboy of old. But some people, that's a scary thought. Oh.
Ha 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 ha. The Bird Lord. Demon birds.
But yeah, some people are finally starting to realize just how horrible it is. And it makes me wonder if our culture in about a year or two is going to start viewing a lot of this AI nonsense with a growing suspicion. And we're going to see that divide finally become clear. Because right now it's starting to form. But culturally, there's a lot of people that are like on the fence and they don't really have an opinion. You're going to see a lot of people choosing to make this like a dividing issue moving forward. You're going to see elections held on this matter, because it is going to ruin so many people. The only people I know that are like really gung-ho about AI are those that don't truly understand its sinister nature. And it is incredibly sinister. I was mentioning earlier that one of the problems about AI is that the people that want this tool to be super important to them, they are calling it, this is their own words, they are calling it a god. Well, we know how God is about his jealousy about other gods, so I don't think that's going to go so well for the people that are claiming that. Well, other people are saying that AI is going to be their masters, and they're going to be, in their own words, they're going to be the pet of the AI. The AI is going to become its master. It's going to feed them. It's going to give them money. It's going to build their lodging, and they're going to become so enslaved to it, they won't be able to pull out. Do you realize what that is going to do to our society? I'm just so overwhelmed by this realization that there are people that actually think this way. It's fascinating to me. It's also terrifying to realize that there are some people so cold that they are willingly deciding that they want to surrender themselves like an animal to a farmer. But the farmer is an AI. That's why it won't work. That's why the people that resist it, they're going to be the ones that win in the end. The way that God set things up, it's going to keep going. You can't challenge the way that God made nature. Whenever we try and do that, we are sorely mistaken, and we're always humiliated. So if people are to be able to resist, I think they'll fare well. But those that don't resist, those that give in, I think those are the people that are going to suffer the most. Ouch. Speaking of suffering. That was a close one. You have to be able to live life wisely. And if you can't be able to see one of the most basic things, that human beings are made to work in this world, then you're going to be just overwhelmed with the frustrations of this earth. You're going to say, wow, why I keep wanting this automation to take off, and it never makes my life as easy as I want it to be. And there are some people, they're like, hey, I don't want to work. I want to just play. I want to be able to do all this nonsense and not actually labor. Well, if you can't labor, you can't find joy in your work. And that's something a lot of people don't really think about, that if the AI takes away all of your work, you're not going to feel good. You're going to feel miserable. Just imagine, you go into a town and somebody comes up and they are being walked by a Tesla robot. And they come up and they're like, they turn to the robot and say, I want to talk to this person. And the robot then says, okay, you can go over and talk to the human. Never, ever would I have thought that's what some people actively wanted. And they say, oh, good, master says I can go over and talk to another human. I'm so lucky. Oh, golly. Insanity. Oh, I messed that up. Those wings don't last forever. Birds of Doom. Take this, Robin. Fear the mightier bird. wonderful. I need that shield. Dang it. Shoot. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I'd been very fortunate up to that point, so I guess it's not terrible. Oop, my bad. If you ever come across somebody that's like, oh, I'm so excited about the AI and I want to be able to invest in it, and oh, you're an idiot if you don't invest in it, just look at them and say, mention about that there are people in the AI world that want to call the AI its master, and watch what they say. There's some people that will say, yeah, I know it's going to happen. Well, might as well embrace it now. So otherwise the AI is going to turn on you, and you don't want to be a slave to it. Might as well be a partner with it. To think about 5 years ago, no one ever would have thought that. 3 years ago, people barely thought that was a possibility. And now it's like, of course there's people that want to do that. Resist. Study scripture, and embrace your community. Embracing a community, that is such a big part of what can fix our nation, fix our state, fix our towns. The fact that we are not willing to actually be an active member of our society is horrible. Now, granted, a lot of people have been burned, and so understandably so, a lot of people are going to not want to even try. But we have an opportunity with especially the older generations to help encourage that. But right now, there's not a whole lot of desire for that. Another way it can help out with community is just that, have more affordable homes. That's a huge thing. And yet there's still several people like trying to intentionally break our lower classes. Even middle class is now lower class in our culture. But we need to fix our communities, and we can't vote on it. We can't try and change it through AI or technology. We have to change it by us being intentionally engaged in the events that take place in our surrounding area. Whether that's our neighborhood, our town, or our church. That's not always easy, though. If I wanted to go down and try and help change my local church, for example, there would be a lot of resistance. There's a lot of people where they would lose a lot if they had somebody come in and try and fix things. Now, I'm not saying that you should go in and kind of take the bull by the horns and make it in force change. No, you have to try and win people over. You have to try and be an encouragement to help inspire and change slowly. It's not going to happen overnight. I mean, sometimes it does, but very rarely. But we have to at least be able to try. And one of the basic things we can do is just by listening to the needs of others without trying to put a price tag on it, without trying to avoid it. There's a lot of people out there that just want someone to talk to, and that alone, if you can do that, just talk with people, you could change a whole lot just through that. Your community might start to heal just through that act alone. I think I'll call it after this round here. So the first product of that I'm going to be putting out is, well, isn't it really a product, or is it more like a, I don't know. Let me hold back on saying that. The first story I want to put out there, because it's not a product, it's a story, and it's free, so it's not a product, is a meaningful story that's about 20 minutes to read through. Well, if you're someone like me and struggles with reading. Not struggling like, oh, reading so hard. It's more like just struggling because it takes you a long time to be able to read it, because you're used to reading things at the speed of speech. Some people can read faster than that. I am not capable of doing stuff like that. So this thing's about 20 minutes if you read as fast as you can speak. After that is going to be the animation that comes out, which, by the way, the renders are coming out better. Been rendering one of the more difficult shots the last couple of days, and got about another 90 frames to go on that. After that, there's going to be the attempt to try and get Milo out, but there might be something else that comes out beforehand, and I'm really debating this. It's tough, because sometimes you have an idea and you don't have people to be able to bounce an idea off of. Because the moment you start putting something out there, people start having opinions that maybe are seen as helpful, and other times it's actually not helpful. Oh, crypto biscuits. So what do I mean by sometimes people's help cannot really be beneficial? Because some people are constantly encouraging. And while encouragement is good, and I will never turn away encouragement, reality is we need people that can be honest with us. If you have an idea, you don't want someone to come up and lie to you. If you have a bad idea, somebody that tells you, oh, it's a great idea, is not your friend. Not in the way that they claim to be. Yeah, sure, they're friendly, but if they tell you a bad idea is a good one, just so they don't hurt your feelings, well, that means they don't really care about your future. And they're kind of overlooking it. Kind of similar to if a parent were to not offer corrections to a child, or a mentor deciding that not to demand that a student be corrected. You need someone to be able to be honest with you. And if people can't be honest, well, then you can't grow, you can't improve. There was a guy that I know who had a story that he was writing. The story was, unfortunately, very, very bad. And I'm not saying that lightly. It was a horrible story. And he thought that he had a masterpiece. Why? All his friends said so. And obviously, his friends couldn't all be wrong. He finally put it out there. And I tried to warn him, along with a couple other people, like, hey, this is not good. Don't put it out there. He would not be persuaded otherwise. And he put it out there. And last I checked, he has never recovered, which makes me wonder Um, um, let's see here. Well, now. Uh-huh. Yep. It doesn't look like anything has happened. Yes, I'm in a storm. Oh, interesting. He got rid of it entirely. Did he shut down the entire thing? Wow. He did. Okay. Yep. So, the guy that I was mentioning about, he never did recover because people were not honest with him. And he wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars. Imagine that. Someone invests hundreds of thousands of dollars into a project only for it not to work because no one was honest with you about how bad your idea was. I don't want to make that mistake. I really don't. Even if people have to be brutally honest. Now, some things, I have ideas that I know will not be easy sells, but I'm that convinced that they need to be done a certain way. Now, in that occasion, it's going to be really hard to try and win people over. And some of them, I'm going to have to take that gamble. I still want to try and be as careful as possible, lest I make the hundreds of thousands of dollars mistake. Now, granted, the things I'm doing are not hundreds of thousands of dollars; they're hundreds of dollars. But it's still pretty spendy when you think about it. I don't want to have to... Oh, there it is. I don't want to, put myself in a bind for making bad decisions and potentially ruin a reputation. That's why I wanted to try and get people's opinions on this first thing. It's not a product. It is it's a free thing. But the first product will come out shortly thereafter, hopefully. But this is where it gets a little curious. So I have this gut feeling that it's hard for me to convey without it sounding like I'm putting too much stock into this. And so I'm just going to have to say I have this gut feeling like I'm supposed to be doing another thing first. Something I keep putting off. But every time I try and do it, it never like pans out. The pieces never come together. And if I were to do this, it could take another 6 months, if not longer. I want to be careful about that. Oh no, don't want to face that. Shoot. That's unfortunate. Well, we're going to be calling it there just because there's not much point in... I'm just rambling at this point, so we'll just call it there. But it is something where it is like eating at me. Like, what is the... Am I making a mistake that kind of like the other folks that made the massive investment, I've made a massive investment, and I don't know if it's going to work. Maybe that's for the best, though. Maybe this is like the last big test before the thing that I feel most compelled to do. Maybe I'll get the inspiration to actually pull it off. I don't know. If you would be so kind as to either like or dislike the stream, I would be much appreciated. And if you want to see some of the projects that are coming out, then I hope that you enjoy it, because they're gonna be... there's a lot of things I'm really looking forward to sharing with you guys. And one of those is everything that is attached to Castercraft. So, Castercraft, this is the website right here. This is the first full site that I've been able to make with this. Up until now, it's been just like sample elements here and there. This is the first one that actually functions, and it's not finished yet. This is about... there's going to be another big push for updating stuff, but after the first wave of content comes out. This right here, this is the thing that's going to be coming out soon. This is going to be the free story that people can be able to read. I might do an audio reading of it, but either way, this is going to be the first thing that comes out. Shortly thereafter, this will come out. It's getting very close. And then after that will be probably the Milo story. I am saying probably because there's a possibility it might not happen right immediately. But I do want this to come out. I really like this story. Not guaranteed yet. Anyway, by the way, if you want to be able to use the Silverado system over here, it is now open for people to be able to utilize during stream. There is going to be... it uses something called Pieces of Silver. Basically, that's channel points. It's unified across all the platforms, so it doesn't matter what platform you're on. You have the ability to just reach over and to be able to add just a little bit of drama to a stream. Anyway, this is something that is been stable for the last couple of months now, and it has worked wonderfully. Yes, it is not perfect, but if you want to be able to utilize it, it is a free thing that you can use. Yes, they're called pieces. Yes, they're called Pieces of Silver and Silver Dollars, but it's all channel points. If you're on Twitch, you can immediately convert it from your channel points. If you're on YouTube or Rumble, you have the ability to use the code redeem over here to get your silver, and you basically get some at during each stream. So you do have the ability to type it in. And so we're going to be setting this up from here on out. Every time there's a stream, there's going to be a new code for you to be able to work with, and that will give you all access to the stream activities to be able to utilize. But it also has other purposes. It is going to help out with some of the content that's coming out. So Pharaoh and the Smith, for example, it's going to be locked behind... there's going to be some stories that are going to be locked behind an area that is going to be basically so anyone who is a member can read it. This is a completely free thing. Anyone who is a member can read it, but that is because I don't want the AI to be scraping That's how paranoid I am about the AI. I want to try and gatekeep from the AI. But anyway, that's why that's going to be the case. There's going to be a section that you can read, kind of like this out here. It'll be a longer section than this, but you'll be able to come down and read it straight from here. This is a functional ebook section here, and so you'll be able to read it right here on the site. And it's actually a pretty neat little window, at least as far as I've been able to really enjoy it. I like using it, and so hopefully other people enjoy it as well. But this is going to be the big push, trying to build up this website and to keep refining it. So if you find an interest in it, be sure to sign up on there. And if you have problems, reach out. I haven't had anyone sign up yet, which is understandable. No worries there. But if you want to be able to utilize it, then just understand you're probably going to be a bit of a guinea pig for the first one, just to be able to see if the sign up works. I've used it about 24 times. It worked fine for me, but it doesn't mean that everybody's going to have the same experience. Some people might have a different system, and that system glitches on them. And then that means I have to go back in the code to try and figure out what's going wrong. So that's why it's the guinea pig sort of situation. I have to figure it out. Anyway, that is all I have for tonight. Have a very blessed evening and morning, everybody. Just a reminder, no matter who you are, no matter what you're going through, be civil to one another and encourage one another to be civil to one another. Unless it's the AI, then resist at all expense. We'll see you next time, whenever that is. Tomorrow we're going to be doing some more artwork and animation, and I want to bring back theological discussions as well. We'll see what happens with that. Anyway,